Rev 1 by Ride1Up. Plenty to cover. Let's hit the roads.
So on to the road test, and this is not my first ride on this bike. I'm actually at 76 miles, I believe. So I have been riding this a lot. And this is a bike with what I will say is a lot of pros and not a lot of cons. But the con is something that you have to really consider to make sure you're getting the right match for you. So I will get to that here in just a second, and then we'll also talk about the off-road portion, so I'm on my way to go test that as well. But as far as the bike itself, riding it, what does it feel like? What's the experience like? This thing is incredibly fun, easy to ride, well built. You just know you're on something that has a lot of quality put into it, a lot of higher end parts. This is an absolute joy. And what do I mean by that? Well, first, it's important to understand that there's a couple different packages that go with this bike, the base model, then the upgraded model that has improved suspension. And I did get that model just because I wanted to test the full build, the top of line model that you could get. So this has front and rear suspension. And I don't know what the base model's like, but this thing is so connected to the road. It is so smooth. Sometimes on e-bikes, they can jostle you around a little bit. Bumps will kind of knock you around a little bit, especially if you're going faster. You just feel a little top heavy at times. They aren't bad things. It's still a very enjoyable experience, but this just is a little lower to the ground, a little more connected, and again, smooth. So it just makes for a very enjoyable experience, something that you could be comfortable cruising on for a long time. You don't feel like, okay, I'm ready to be done. You're like, I just want to keep going. And that really describes the experience you get from this, that whole, I don't want to stop. I enjoy it that much. Regular e-bikes can be that way too, but there's something about this bike. So it rides well, but what about power if you just want to go, or what are you going to get out of this? Well, from the factory, it comes with a couple different modes, and you can set this to the regular old, I only want to go a top speed of 20 miles per hour if that's what you want, and you're going to get that, and you're going to get a very typical e-bike experience if you want to keep it locked in at those speeds. But it also has a couple tiers you can unlock. You have to message the company and they tell you how to do it. You got to sign a waiver. But if you unlock it, there's a couple packages. I believe the next one goes up to 28 miles per hour, and then the full unlocked goes up to 36. And it has no problem getting to that. But on top of that, it accelerates very well. When you hit the throttle, it's not a slow, I'll get there eventually. It's a torquey feel. It has a fair amount of oomph to it, and it'll really get going and get you up to those speeds pretty quick. So power, it is in no shortage of. Something else that I've come to love is all the things built into this that make the everyday commute or longer commutes more enjoyable or more easy. It has the turn signals built right here. You can just flip it, indicate, flip it the other way, indicate. Has a horn right here. So you just hit that and it's gonna be nice and loud and everybody know exactly where you're up to. Headlight that you can change where the light angles from, so you have kind of control there, which is really nice. And just all those things put together, the indicators, the headlight, the tail light, you just feel like you're gonna be seen on the roads, and it makes you do feel safer. Now the pedal assist here is here. I'm gonna talk about this more in a second when I get to the pedaling, because that's the pro/con part of this video. But you can have it support you, and it works well, but this really isn't a pedaling bike. So it's there, it will work if you're gonna try to pedal on this, but not something most people are really probably gonna take advantage of that much, because that's just not what this bike is used for. Before I do get onto that pro/con, let's talk about the brakes real quick, because safety on a bike this fast is gonna be important. I mentioned it's secure, it's hugged to the road, you feel really smooth, everything about it just feels good. And when you hit those brakes, boy, can they stop. I have not been on an e-bike yet that has brakes like this. When you smash them, it will stop, but you feel completely in control, and you can obviously control that. So some very strong, very well-built brakes into this. So when you need to slow down from those higher speeds, if you're doing it, you're not gonna have a problem. It does it very well. And now into the pro/con part of this video, and that's making sure that this would be the right bike for you, because this is not like other e-bikes. When you get a different e-bike, you sit higher, your knees are lower, you're able to pedal like a regular e-bike, you're able to work and get exercise like a regular bike, and the e-bike is there to support you, or if you want to, let it do all the work, but that's your choice, and you have the ability to choose between those two. With this, now I am a big guy at 6'3", but most people are gonna have about the same issue. When I pedal, my knees are up at my chest, I'm kind of hugging them. This is not how you ride a bike. The pedals are there for if you want to pedal and try to get better range or still get a little work in, but you are not buying this bike for pedaling. So just keep that in mind. This is not a bike for exercise. This is a bike for commuting, for getting to places, to maybe replace a lot of daily commutes if you drive around a city. It still has decent range, but can go fast, so you can get places quick. That is what this is meant for. And if that's how you want to use it, this will be a fantastic option. But if it's not, and you're hoping to still get some exercise and ride it more like a regular bike, I think you'll be disappointed. So just make sure you understand the difference there. I'm gonna wrap up the road test with a couple final thoughts, then we'll take this trail so you can know how this would handle off-roading if you had to do that. I realized I forgot to mention the seat here is very comfortable. It's long, so you can kind of get positioned how you want. It kind of curves around your body, so it hooks you a little bit, kind of makes you feel a little more secure in the seat. And the way the fabric is, it's comfortable, but it also, again, hooks you, so that way you don't feel like you're gonna slide off. It's not one of those materials where if you're wearing mesh shorts like I am right now, you're gonna just wanna slide off the back, which is nice. It makes it very enjoyable for longer trips, which again, tends to be a theme on this bike. You're gonna enjoy the rides, you're gonna wanna keep riding. And final thoughts, they do have a cage you can buy with this. It was out of stock when I ordered it, but it does make it look really cool and let you haul some stuff, so I wish I could have got that. But instead of getting that, I added the passenger kit, which adds some foot pegs and a handle in the back, which lets a passenger ride with you. And I have all these e-bikes, but my kids can't come with me, and I thought it'd be fun to be able to ride along with them, have fun, and just do some trips together, and we have been doing that like crazy. At first, I had them riding behind me, which works well, and they kind of hug you, and it feels very secure, and it feels like a very good ride, but in my case, it makes me ride so far forward that I look like a giant on this bike, even more than I already normally do. And it is not comfortable for me in the slightest. So I had them start riding in front of me. And as long as they hold here and they don't try to grab the handlebar, they're behaved and listen to your instructions. If they hold right here, it works really well. Your arms are securing them in by going around them. And I've been taking my son to soccer and back. My other kids beg for rides all the time. It has been a lot of fun. And I have come to really enjoy that part, is that it's a family experience too, that we can just go places and just have fun little trips together. So that has worked out extremely well. But now let's go find some trails. So I'm out here doing some off-roading, and you know, this thing is actually doing pretty well. I wasn't sure what to expect being a lower bike and close to the ground as you ride, and I don't think it's as much meant for this. It doesn't have those knobby big fat tires that some of the other e-bikes do, so it doesn't grip as well. You know, you can feel your feet brushing through stuff, you know, because you're right there, it's hitting your legs. But as far as control and being connected, and there's some really big jumps in these roads, it's staying connected, and I'm feeling really secure, and it's enjoyable. The suspension's doing what it's gonna. I can still feel the bumps. I probably could soften it up if I wanted to, but you know, having the dual suspension, it's making it feel as comfortable as it's gonna for very rough terrain. So I'm enjoying this experience. It's good. Would I say you're gonna go looking for this with this bike? No. I mean, it has the more moped style wheels on it that handle the road extremely well. When you're taking corners, they really hook. You can kind of fly through corners, where this is not gonna do that as much. You're not gonna be hooking as well because they're a little bit more smoother. If you're going through a lot of just light stuff, you know, tall grasses, gravel, a little bit of loose soil, sand, it's gonna be able to do most of that stuff without much of a problem at all. Now, if you're thinking, I wanna go through some really nasty stuff, some extremely loose gravel or really muddy, slippery conditions, I don't think this is gonna be the bike for that. You might be able to get through it slowly if you had to work your way through something. But again, that's probably not why you're buying a bike like this. You're looking at this as I'm mostly sticking to the roads, and if I have to get through something rough, I can, and it's gonna get you through it. And so you're gonna be just fine if you think of it from that approach. But again, I'm out here, this stuff is not necessarily easy to drive through, and it's handling it great. I'm just cruising around, no big deal, and I haven't had second thoughts about it. So pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna wrap this up by saying I hate and love this bike. I hate it because it's so fun to ride that I'm not using my other bikes as much. And when I get on an e-bike, I do it because I can go farther. I can get through some parts that are challenging a little bit easier, but I can still get a lot of exercise. And with this, it's not so much an exercise option. So the fact that I keep coming back to this instead of the others is irritating me a little bit, and I blame them because they made such a good bike. So on the love side, if you want a bike that you're gonna be tooling around the city, doing errands in, wanna haul stuff, or just get to places and have fun and use it on kind of a more regular frequency, this is a fantastic option. It is not low quality. Everything on it just screams high quality, built to last, works extremely well. And if that's what you're looking for, you're gonna be thoroughly impressed with this option. So if anything I've said does help you out and you want to support this channel, I do have a free link in the description. Appreciate it if you use it. But check out what you're seeing on screen. That's what's coming up next. And until then, I'll catch you then.